Welcome to Hideaway Homestead. We're going to be talking today about how to process chickens on your homestead. We started out with 9 chickens and we got them processed in just about 3 hours. And so we're going to show you the process of how we did that. We started with this. Aww. And ended with this. When we processed them today, they were about 9 weeks old.
These are the Cornish Cross Chickens that we will be harvesting today. We moved them out into this empty pen last night, took away their food so that they won't have all of their gluttonous food stocked up in their crops and stuff, get in the way. So it was nice that we had this pen semi-available and empty, so that we could separate them from the others that they've been, the little barred rocks that they've been living with. You can hear the other chickens are wondering where Daddy is with their food. He hasn't been out here yet for them. We'll give you a general idea of the process that we're planning anyway for our harvesting, we call it, of our chickens today. This is the first step of the process where we will place them upside down in this restraining cone, slit their necks, their veins in their neck, and then the blood will drain so that they will be free of blood as we process them. We hope that this will all be like an assembly line, so they will go from this area, moving just a few feet away, to go into the pot of scalding water out here that will loosen their feathers and make them easier to remove. Then we'll take them over to this table and pluck the feathers off. The feathers will go into this handy dandy tote right here at the end, and then from that process they will go over to this taller table where Kevin will dress them out, process them. So we're hoping that this works as a smooth assembly line. Maybe we can divide up tasks and get it done quickly and efficiently today. We're looking forward to our harvest.
This is the ice we're putting in the coolers for the chicken to go in. Takes lots of ice. You want to make sure you keep the chicken cooled. You don't want it to get too hot in between steps over here. So what we do is we bring coolers out here and fill them with ice, and then as we go through the process we just dump them in that cooler and they're immediately cooled down. Of course they'll be cooled down also along the way in between some of these other steps. And then this is the other cooler that we have over here. And so just depending on how many birds you're doing will determine how many coolers you need to keep everything cooled down. I just got this pot started up here and it's heating up now, so we're waiting for that water to get hot. And it's just what this is it's a turkey cooker that we have, that we use, and it's just hooked up to a propane tank, as you can see.
Okay. The idea is to hang them upside down. That relaxes them. So we'll put him, hopefully he will fit in our cone.
Keeps them from thrashing around so much too. Okay.
Let's see if Kevin can find the neck. We let the chicken hang upside down for at least 2 minutes so that the blood could drain from it and it could stop thrashing. Then we plunged it into the scalding water. What I'm doing is checking after a minute or so to see if the feathers will release quickly. If they will come off easily, and they're doing pretty well there, but I put it in one more time for just a little bit more to
time in the hot water to see if the feathers will come off easily. Some of those tail feathers did not want to let go, but we went from there and put it into cooler water so that we could take off the feathers and put them into this tote.
Alright, this process we're doing here, Carol's doing, is we're plucking them. After we take them out of the scalding water, we put them into this cooler water here, and then start pulling the feathers off of them. And it's usually a pretty quick process, really. They come off really easy. You can see how easy those are coming out. They come right off. So, there we go.
Problem is getting these little teeny pin feathers.
Yeah, those little ones are hard to get off of there. Some people, after they do this process, they will use a torch or something and just burn those little feathers off of there. And you can do that too. That's an okay process to do also. They're hard to get off because they're so small and they're like hairy thing, or almost little hairs or something.
Pull them with my fingernails.
Yeah. Alright, okay, the next step in this process that we're going to be doing is to cut the chicken up. So the first thing that we usually do is we take the legs off. If you use your finger and feel right there in that joint, you can feel the joint between this side and this side. It's a little soft spot right there. That's the spot where you want to cut. Okay, so what you do is, what I do is I hold on to it, feel with my finger, I find it, I put the knife in there, and if you have a really sharp knife, you can just cut it right off. And then you do the same thing with this side. Find the little joint and cut it right off. And there you go. So now we got the feet off. Next thing in the process is to take the head off. And again, it's already got a cut from where we cut the neck. So I usually just try to cut right through it. And if you can get it between the vertebrae, it comes off a lot easier. Next thing is, what we got to do is we've got to get the windpipe, and the esophagus is running up in this neck right here, so we got to get that out. So what we do is there's a soft spot right here under the neck that we're going to find with our finger, and then all I do is I just take the knife, again use a very sharp knife, the sharper it is the easier it is, and just make a cut right there and open that up. Okay, then I'm going to pick my finger in here and hold on to the neck and just pull this up a little bit, and you can see the windpipe is right there. It's easy to find. Okay, so then what I do is I stick my finger in here and get my finger underneath that windpipe if I can. And this is real slimy in here when you do this. So now I've got the windpipe right there on my finger. So now all I have to do is just pull that out of the neck, and there it is. Okay, now the harder part is to find the esophagus. It's in here, or into the crop. Yeah, it goes into the crop, and it's usually, I've discovered that the ones that we've done so far, it's been down here sort of on the side of the neck, and it's a little bit hard to find. I usually have to sort of dig around in here until I find it, and again you have to just sort of be aggressive and dig in here and find it. It's right here, and it's hard to get a hold of because it is so slimy. I had it, but I lost it. Okay, oops, I think it just popped. Nope, there it is. There it is. Okay, I got it right there. See, it's over my thumb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that out of the neck, just like that. So now I've got both windpipe and the esophagus goes into the crop. Alright, so then we just leave those like they are for a few minutes and turn it around. Now we're going to cut this in here. Again, this is skin right here. So some people like to pinch the skin and cut it. Some people like to pull it tight and cut it. You don't need to cut deep. All you need to do is cut that skin. So what I do, my preference is to sort of pull it tight, and I can see what I'm doing, and then I just make a little cut right across there just like that, and you'll start seeing all the fat and stuff in there. Then once I do that, I put my thumb in here under the tip of the breastbone, my thumb in there, this thumb in here, and then you just pull it apart like so. Okay, now at this point what I've got to do is I've got to get all those innards out of there. So I just stick my hand, while I'm holding this up with my thumb, I just stick my hand straight in here, up with the tops of my fingers up against the inside of the... Okay, so now we usually will keep the neck and use it in other stuff. Carol cooks different things with it, usually broth or chicken soup or something. So I just try to find a good spot. I try to find the spot between the vertebrae. Sometimes I can find them and sometimes I can't. They're such small bones that it's hard to feel. There it is. And then just cut the neck off and throw it in the bucket if you're keeping it, and there you go. Okay, so you can either leave these tips on the wings or you can take them off. It's your preference. We usually take them off because there's really not any meat on them. So I just take them off, and again, if you grab this wing and pull back on it, you'll find the joint is right in here, and then you can just put your knife in there and cut straight down, and it cuts it. Anytime you cut through the joint rather than the bone, it keeps your knife from getting dull, and it's a lot easier process. Okay, so that's pretty much, that one's ready to go into the ice, and I may hose it off a little bit more and clean some more of this up, but then it's ready to go right into the ice bucket. This is the finished product. There are 5 birds in this cooler, and then this one over here has the other 4. We had a total of 9 birds that we processed. We put them down in these coolers in this ice to keep them cool, and to keep bacteria from building up in them and them while they're hot. And we'll leave them in these coolers probably until tomorrow, and then we'll take them out and we'll cut up some of them, package them up and put them in the freezer, and some of them we will leave as whole fryers. Okay, it pretty much took us about 3 hours to process these 9 chickens today. Last time we did this, it took us a little longer, and we didn't really know a whole lot about what we were doing yet. We were still learning. So this time it worked out real well. Because of the situation that we've had in the world these days, we feel like that we were sort of led to get more meat to put in our freezer and to have more stuff on hand, because we just don't know what's going to happen in the world. And so we were trying to be prepared as much as we possibly could. And so we have lots of chicken now to put in our freezer. It should last us a long time. One of the things that we like about this process of doing our own meat is that we know where they came from. We know what they were fed, how they were raised, and they were very well taken care of. They were free range as much as possible, and so we know what went into these birds, and so we don't have to wonder what was put in them in the factory somewhere before we got them. Thanks for joining us here on Hideaway Homestead today. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Tell your family and friends about us, and have them to subscribe also. It would really help our channel a lot if we could get people to subscribe as much as possible. So, until next time, thanks for joining us here on Hideaway Homestead.